Oh, the weather outside is frightful,
but inside is so delightful.
It's Christmas in July.
Let's review, Fred.
Let's review, Bon.
Oh, let's review.
Season 2, yabba dabba doo.
Bum.
Bum.
Flintstones. Meet the
Flintstones. They're a Muffin-sized family.
From the town of
of
Bedrock. They're a place right out of history. All right.
Dun, dun. The Modern Stone Age family. Okay.
So can you believe how close we are to ending Christmas in July, BlueDragonFive, our second year? I mean, look at the list. You're a little skeptical that we're going to end it, really?
I'm a little skeptical that we're that close to the end. I don't know. I don't buy it. Something's off here.
Well, we have to do double duty on Alf and the Nanny tomorrow, and that'll be fun for me. But I'm sorry, I just kind of spoiled the whatever. It's fine.
Ruin the magic.
Oh, I'm paying no attention to the man behind the ridiculous hat that I have because I couldn't find the Santa hat.
Yes, he hasn't used it. This is what happens when Tiki doesn't use the Christmas magic to turn that bag into a magical hat.
I know, right? I just become a bum podcaster, and I just ruin everything.
All right. So we're talking about the Flintstones.
Yeah, we're talking about the Flinstones. It is the Hanna-Barbera selection on our Christmas in July roster for 2015. Mm-hmm. Last year, I did a solo show about Casper's Christmas, and that was a fun one, BlueDragonFive, because it had like Yogi Bear, Snagglepuss, Secret Squirrel, I believe, like a whole bunch of Hanna-Barbera characters kind of coming together for the
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
Yeah, it was fun. But this one, I got to admit, I'm mixed on. I think it's an interesting little time capsule of the Flintstones. I'll give it that much. It's an anomaly. But I don't know. I feel like this is a half-hour special that was trying to be an hour-long special, and doesn't really flow too well for me. I think there's a lot of standout moments, like any good Flintstones episode. I certainly think there's a good rapport between Barney and Fred, but I don't know. We should get into it though, because there's 45 minutes worth of content here.
But the one thing to say with the Flintstones in general, because Flintstones is Americana. We don't need to go over the background of it. I would like to point this out. So this specifically is the 1977 Christmas special. Now, with
it was the year of Star Wars.
Of course, big year. So with that though, I just noticed like the history of the Flintstones. Apparently, Flintstones ran for, I believe, I want to say 6 seasons, maybe 5. I'm pretty sure it's 6 seasons. Anyway, basically went from 60 to 60 to 65, I think.
Sounds about right. Yeah. Something.
Anyway, so what the point is that it ran for 8 years, and after that show ended its run, they kept going in other forms of Flintstones. You have all the different spin-off Flintstone type shows where they would be like Flintstones and Friends, or something like the titles like that, like Pebbles and Bam Bam.
Flintstones Kids.
Yeah, like Flintstones Kids. They all see that's the thing with the Flintstones. I want to tell you real quick. So they had all these great. I think many generations remember the Flintstones because they had all these spin-offs and everything, because of course all the events.
Well, I feel like that's definitely a Hanna-Barbera trademark, because they did the exact same thing with Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, and I believe this is
they
like
had Scooby-Doo and the 13 Ghosts, pup named Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo movies, all kinds of different Scooby-Doo shows they would do.
You gotta remember, this is the one that put Hanna-Barbera on the map, this show.
Oh, of course.
This is their Simpsons, essentially.
Yeah, I think all the other Hanna-Barbera shows can definitely stand in the shadow of this one to a certain extent, just because it trailed a lot of new ground in terms of the primetime animated sitcom that we wouldn't really get back to until years and years and years later with stuff like The Simpsons.
I was wondering if we could take a minute to just kind of spat off like a few nostalgic Flintstones events and or movies you want to just mention real quick.
Well, I've already mentioned on other podcasts that when I was a naive 9-year-old, I thought Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas was a cinematic masterpiece.
I'm at the animated stuff.
Okay, you know what one I really have a fondness for? Do you remember the Flintstones on the Rocks?
Oh, that one, the Seth MacFarlane one.
Right.
Sorry, yeah. Actually, no, I don't know if he had anything.
Not Seth MacFarlane. I thought it was Seth MacFarlane.
No, I'm sorry. It's not Seth MacFarlane.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about. Sorry. What I'm saying, I might have been. I think it had something to do with that one, but I can't be certain. But I know he's coming back to do the new show. So.
Oh right, yeah, and I'm somewhat excited for that. I'll see where that goes. I think.
Sorry, but I know what you're exactly. Forget the Seth MacFarlane thing I said about that. I can't verify that, but it's like that was like the really strange Flintstones one.
Exactly. It was surreal. It almost felt like something out of Hunter S. Thompson, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. Anyways,
we were in the middle of bedrock on the edge of the desert.
Fred and Wilma having marital issues. So
right. And they were super violent towards each other in a very over-the-top, cartoony sort of way.
Yeah. Like, be honest, I this is going to sound silly, but I don't know if like Seth MacFarlane did a voice or something, and he was. I want to say he was somehow involved, but don't quote me on it. Anyway, last I'll say.
No, I mean, I wouldn't quote myself on it either, but I definitely feel like he was involved in some capacity, maybe as a storyboard artist, something.
Yeah,
like
something. It was early Seth MacFarlane. That's
right.
Early in his thing. Anyway, so a few kind of straight my fancy, because watching Flintstones kind of reminds me of these nostalgic milestones I have with the Flintstones. Like for you, I'm sure it's Christmas, the Christmas Carol Flintstone.
Yeah, that definitely stands out for sure.
But
I mean,
for me,
and just the show in general, man, just watching the show, like it was one of the first shows where I would just, I would crave it. You know, I definitely felt like it was, even back then, I felt like it was more sophisticated than something that would air on like Nickelodeon or something, because it was meant for a more adult audience at the time.
For me, it was two in particular, always ring in my head no matter what. It's one, a Yabba Dabba Doo.
Okay.
That's the one where Pebbles and Bam, they're all grown up. It's from their spin-off show, and they were like all grown up, like a teen comedy. And then this is the movie in which they got married to each other. So they're like grown up Bam Bam, grown up Pebbles.
Right. That's fine, I guess.
I was saying that one was like I remember like renting that from the library on VHS and watching that. I would watch. I was like, it was such a as a younger man, I was just watching. It was like, man, this is astonishing. Two cartoon characters we saw as babies, they are now full grown men getting married.
Changer.
Yes, and Fred doesn't look like he's aged a day.
No, yeah, that's one thing that stands out.
It was a big kind of cartoon novel. Like the kids were allowed to grow, and you finally see it come to fruition. Like, wow! I remember my favorite parts of it, the ending where they have the Hanna-Barbera, the guys themselves were cameoed in the episode, and he said, well, can you believe it? They finally did. I knew those two kids were made for each other. You know, it's like Ollie Johnson and Frank Thomas from The Incredibles, essentially.
Old school, like the old school.
Essentially, it was a cameo like that, which always stuck out to me. It's like, man, that is really clever. Mm-hmm. Anyways, then the other thing would be the big movie that kind of brought the Flintstones back. Really, is like after the show. And this is their big. I believe it was even released theatrically, if I'm not mistaken. A Man Called Flintstone, the James Bond parody.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah.
That one was so
good. They show that on Cartoon Network a lot.
I was like, to me as a kid, that was the closest we got to the Flintstones tackling superhero territory. It was like the closest we ever got because there was a supervillain in it.
And of course, we had Flintstones Meet the Jetsons.
Oh, of course, that was the big one. I remember I was freaking out over that as a kid. Like, oh my god! Like, it was on Cartoon Network one night.
That special gives some credence to the whole theory that the Flintstones and the Jetsons are in the same timeline, and the Flintstones is just like a post-apocalyptic civilization.
That's silly.
I know it's silly, but it's what do you want from me? All right, anyways.
Yeah, sorry. Back on topic.
Yeah, we got a 45-minute special to cover, so let's get right
take us through it.
Okay, so we have Betty, Pebbles, Wilma, and Bam Bam. They're out in this kind of icy tundra-like setting, you know, out in the outskirts of Bedrock, and they've got the Christmas tree all chopped down. And there's a bunch of really cool designed dinosaurs here. You know, I've always admired the Flintstones when it comes to just the background characters, the dinosaurs, and just the world building in general.
We got a community time. We got the holiday pterodactyl.
Sure.
We got Wilma and Betty and the kids, and they get a tree, and they're on the way home. And we notice again, kind of mapping out the whole idea of Dabba-Dabba-Doo here. We see Pebbles has gotten a little older. This is like a toddler Pebbles.
And I gotta say, when I first saw it, it definitely kind of threw me off. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, again, this is like probably again kind of picking up where the Flintstones was getting at towards the end of their original run, and just kind of picking up a few years after that. I'm assuming making her a little older.
I mean, as far as I remember, I don't think Pebbles really talked at all in the.
Well, that's the thing. I'm saying like all the spin-off stuff. That's when she started to grow up. That's when they started to age her.
Okay. It was just I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, no, I was caught off guard by too. I forgot that they aged her within the other cartoons. I thought it was like I always assumed it was an age jump. Like,
yeah,
Baby.
That's right. Yeah, they did age her for sure.
I thought it was Baby, then to the spin-off show like she got when she was like a teenager along then. That's what I thought of. Like, but no, there was an in between. So I was impressed by it. Man, they took their time with that one.
That's a character that developed over a long period of time on TV.
Yeah. And from the 60s to she got married in the 90s. That's 30 years. Remember, she's the one she came up with rollerblades in the Flintstones universe. That was her idea.
All right, let's see. So Fred and Barney, they're out enjoying the sights. And I got to say, this is a fun bedrock downtown, at Christmas time.
Oh, yeah. So they're going by a department store. There's a Christmas trope right there. Looking at getting the tree, first of all, then going to the department store.
And just Christmas atmosphere in a downtown setting in general, I feel like.
Yeah. So they happen up. They're looking in the department store, kind of Ralphie style, and they see a toy train set, and they says, "Oh, we never had toys like this, did we, Fred? Oh, these kids don't know how lucky they are today." And again, anytime we're seeing trains like this, it's reminding me of Ant-Man now.
I know. It's okay. At least you're not reminded of Big Brother like I am.
Okay,
I
so
was
then we
hit by a train last summer when I was walking. Woo woo.
Okay, so we see like another Christmas trope right here. We got charity Santas all over the place, and Fred and Barney, as they're walking around, they happen by one, and Barney, being the nice guy he is, he tips the guy. He puts some little in there for the holidays. Really nice.
And then enters probably one of the more unnecessary songs.
No, I like this song. That was a nice introductory song.
I think all these songs are unnecessary. I don't really think the special should have been a musical to begin with, and I guess that's where you and I are going to differ. I'm
saying, look, I will concede that they didn't need them, but they were nice.
I just thought they had... Look, basically what I'm saying is I don't really feel like this story... I mean, it has some interesting things going for it. You see the real Santa Claus come in and everything like that, and I guess in that respect, this is a good kind of foreshadowing to that.
I like everything but the elf song, in my opinion. I like all the songs except the elf one.
All right, I guess so. We'll get into it.
My point is, if we can, it's the fact they had to stretch it for an hour long. That's how they sold it. So they had to stretch it, and the only way they could really think to stretch it was 2 plot lines and songs.
Mm-hmm.
So with that in mind, if they have to stretch, I'm saying the stuff they have in there, it's good stuff. So if they're going to stretch, at least they're stretching with good stuff.
And I don't think that Fred Flintstone has the most glamorous singing voice either. That's all I'm saying.
Unfortunately, he's no Alan Reed. But Alan Reed was the original Fred Flintstone. This is a different one. There was always a slew of Fred Flintstones. Like nowadays we have James Arnold Taylor, and before we had Jeff Bergman. We had a slew of them.
I think all the voices are just like odd. I think Betty especially. Betty just sounds like another Wilma. Like, she doesn't have any defining quality to her voice like the other Betty did. Yeah,
I think Barney's fine.
Barney's good. I'd say Barney's probably the best.
I think Wilma's on point.
Yeah, Wilma's fine.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. This is the Fred that predominantly, this one took over after Alan Reed died. It's Harvey something, unfortunately. It's like, begins with a K. It's not Harvey Korman, but it's Harvey something.
Mm-hmm.
Point is, this Fred, he was the one who took over, and he actually sang for Alan Reed, so he was always the singing voice of Fred Flintstone, actually. So, point is, this guy, I thought he did a decent job with Fred, but he's no Alan Reed. Alan Reed was the Fred Flintstone. Anyway, so, they're singing, before they get into the song, Fred, I just love these singing all these happy faces on Christmas. So happy about it, good old Fred. Seeing Fred in the holidays, I love how it wasn't just like grouchy around. I love how he's not our Scrooge.
Yeah, do we even have a proper Scrooge here?
Well,
Mr. Slate, maybe?
no, well, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't think Fred's our Scrooge.
I wouldn't say so. I don't think he ever gets out of the Christmas spirit.
He's only grumpy about, like, I don't want to be the fat guy. I don't want to be Santa Claus because I'm the fat guy. That's a fair point. It's just what's this?
Yeah.
But he's again right here. We see he's in the Christmas spirit. He doesn't want to donate to every Santa, and you can understand that. Like, donate to one Santa. It's fine. You don't donate to every Santa you pass.
Yeah, but Barney's just kind of being a blind optimist to this whole thing.
So,
it's like, well, Fred, one of them's got to be the real Santa, and I can't decide, so I'll just play it safe.
It's got to be the wives or Slate or Mr. Slate.
Wives or Mr. Slate.
Well, Betty's in a good mood. It's either Wilma or it's
I don't think Wilma's in
That's the thing. I don't know if we have a Scrooge. I mean, Mr. Slate threatens to fire him, but I don't know.
Let's just go by Mr. Slate just because we need one. And
all right, but at least he's a decent Scrooge. I mean, he's not like a bad Scrooge.
I don't think he's a decent Scrooge in terms of, like, I don't think he fits the mold of being a Scrooge.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
so in that respect, we fail.
Yeah, I mean, he's too decent. I'm saying he's too decent Scrooge.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it.
He's anyway, so, like, the guys are walking around saying, "Oh, so many happy faces." No, there's no holiday like it, Barn. Really nice.
Yeah, that's nice. It's a nice sentiment.
And they run to another Santa, and then Fred points out to Barney again. He's going to another Santa Claus again. Nice, really nice holiday. I would like this again. Holiday charity. We got a bit of there.
A few more of those ho ho ho's, and you'll be
Which I thought was funny. And Fred, I know, but how can you just can't say no to Santa Claus? It says, well, that's not the real Santa, Barn. And then we get into the Barney Santa song. Just kind of explain. No, let's give it there.
I have your attention, please. Will the real Santa Claus please stand up? I repeat, will the real Santa Claus please stand up? We're going to have a problem here. That's pretty much what the situation is.
Yeah, basically Barney says, "Oh, I'd like to meet the real Santa Claus." Basically, there's Santa charity Santas. Basically, talking about all the Santas that are around during the holidays, and I just wrote down like all the different kinds of Santas we see, not in lyrical form, mind you, but we see a Santa Claus balloon on the outside of the mall. We see department store Santas. We see mall Santas. We see a flat
I like the really
Santa.
tall one.
Yeah, we got like a thin Santa. We got like a Santa with a big old pillow for stomach. We got Santas with fake beards. We got
I thought it was kind of unusual where it's like they stumble upon a Santa that's stuck in his chimney upside down. And what is the deal with that? Like, is that some guy trying to break into the house? And is it the real Santa Claus? Because we've seen that the real Santa Claus isn't the most careful Santa out there.
We'll get to that. That's a gripe I have within this thing. We'll get to that.
And it also kind of bothers me that Fred and Barney are just like, oh, look, he's hanging upside down a chimney. Let's just walk away and not help him.
Well, they can't help everyone in Bedrock.
I don't know. It just bothered me. It's
not like they're the fire department, Tiki.
Well, they should call the fire department. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
I know. How are they going to convey that in the song? I know, fair point.
Anyway, we see like, Santa Claus is a real beard, Santa Claus is stuffed with straw. And then in the end, again, this song I think is really lovely. And again, this one out of all the songs is the most plot relevant. If you can only have one song, you got to have this one.
I mean, I'll agree. Yeah, it's definitely plot relevant because it leads up to the whole identity crisis with Santa, for sure.
Plus, it also just reaffirms that Fred Flintstone, he's in a good mood around the holidays. He's definitely not our Scrooge. I appreciate it. That's a good change in pace,
Indeed, because Fred most definitely is the Scrooge in the other classic Christmas.
Well, literally in the other one, yeah. So basically, again, I think it's real jaunty tune. They're saying, well, let's just choose them all. And they say, oh, there's a real fat one. There's the one stuck upside down. You'll never. And then at the end of the song, pretty much,
it's fun. I just don't necessarily think any of the songs are necessary. Is the only thing.
Well, I don't know. This one actually, I think this one, if any of them, is necessary though.
I mean, I guess it's necessary just in terms of like. You see, I already feel like they were doing a good job of conveying that, there's a lot of Santa Clauses because Barney's donating to multiple different ones. And then I feel like the song comes in and just hammers the point home. Like, look at all these Santa Clauses. I don't know. Look, I'm not complaining about the song itself. The song itself is fun. I'm just structurally, if I don't necessarily think this needed to be a musical, and I think it could have been done in half an hour. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, okay, I'll agree to disagree. I don't mind the songs that are going to stretch it, but I don't know.
I just don't think the songs are necessary, and they're not a part of like usual Flintstones flavor. I'm not saying that they're bad for the most part. Like, they're fine. I don't think they're like amazing, like Sherman Brothers-esque quality songs either by any stretch.
No, but this one does. It does succeed in just illustrating through song just how Fred's feeling around the holidays. That he doesn't want to do it every Santa goes by, and the whole setting up the whole real Santa Claus idea of like, where's the real Santa? And their skepticism later on. It illustrates stuff that's plot relevant though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying there's a lot of plot relevant stuff. I don't know. All
right. Well, like you said, let's agree to disagree.
Yeah. Let's agree to disagree.
All right, so
wrong.
No, but
Men in Black 3. Okay, sorry, moving on. then Fred says, "You'll never catch me in one of those." Ha 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 ha.
Oh, foreshadowing! Clever special.
So
I see what you're doing there.
They happen by a pet store and they see dino pups.
This is adorable. It really is.
This reminds me of Mr. Slate. Let's go inside. And here's usually kind of a rare Christmas trope. We got getting the pet for Christmas.
Yeah. It's a rare treat.
You know, I don't think they followed through on. I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
I don't think
the
so.
pet's ever mentioned again.
I think, I gotta tell you though, it's really sweet. Just the idea of, oh hey, look, pet looks like our boss. Let's go inside. Let's see the pets.
Yeah, it is a sweet sentiment to Barney. You know, like, oh, I wonder if Bam Bam would like one.
Yeah. So, anyways, they go inside and you see, oh yeah, Bam might like this one. It's the one like little like kind of the spot around the eye. Anyway, he says, oh, well, I could use it as a watchdog. Barn, how's that going to work as a watchdog? And it bites Fred's finger.
Like that, Fred? First of all, I just got to say Barney's laugh is just ridiculous and awesome.
Yeah.
And I will keep using it. All right. All right, so let's see. Then we're back at home, right?
Yep. We're at the Flintstone house. There's another Christmas trope. We got.
Oh yeah. I was glad to see this in action in full force.
In addition to just seeing the Flintstone house decorations, Christmas decorations in general, we have the tree topping scene.
Indeed. Yeah, give it up.
So Fred's putting the star on the tree. Don't anybody move. Never mind. So he's putting the star on the tree, and we see older Pebbles. Yeah, she's older. This is real noticeable because she's talking. So
you might be able to sell me on Wilma being the Scrooge here, because Wilma, she's kind of like, oh, Fred, just be careful. Watch it, Wilma. I know what I'm doing. Yes, Fred, I have a little confidence in you.
No, she has. She comes around too much though. We can't go.
No, it's hard. It's tricky.
It's like she has too many
arcs. Really easily. It's like she has a few moments where she's like, oh, Fred. But then it's just like, oh, I can't stay mad at you.
Exactly.
Fred.
She's a mini arc every 5 minutes. Anyway, so basically Pebbles is warning her, is warning Fred, Daddy, be careful. And then the thing happens with Wilma. He was saying, oh, let me do it, Wilma. And as he's doing, there's a knock at the door with the. Again, the best one of the fun conceits of the Flintstones universe is that all the buttons actually just trigger smaller animals. So one of the prehistoric animals that activate the device. And it's like, it's a living, but we get that later on.
It's a living.
Okay, so she pulls the bell, which is a monkey in this case.
A monkey!
A monkey
Hi,
ringing
monkey.
Monkey ringing holiday bells. Dino is excited to greet the guests. He topples over the ladder, kind of Spike style from Rugrats.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
So it leads to a fall, and poor Fred doesn't actually just fall. He's caught on the tree star. It's 30 tree, by the way, because as Barney walks in, he says, "Oh, the tree looks really nice, Wilma, especially that fat little ornament right there." That is kind of funny. Just seeing Fred looking all grumpy on that tree. Someone get me down.
Good stuff.
Okay, and Betty's saying, well, are you going to ask him? Are you going to ask him? I'll ask him, you know what.
Oh boy.
So then, let's see. So then Fred and Barney get into like the last ornament argument, pretty much saying, "Oh, the ornament should be hung here. No, here, here, here." And then I wouldn't hang it there, Fred. Why? Why is that? Then it topples over on Fred.
And then Barney's just like, "Oh well, here comes the why not." and then Pebble comes all concerned, and then Barney's just like, well, is it Barney or Fred who says, luckily, the tree broke? Fred broke the tree's fall.
Yeah, luckily, you broke the tree's fall or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, Fred, I'm laughing at your personal pain, Fred.
I want some pebbles.
God. I can take that in a very dark direction.
Don't. I swear to don't.
I won't. I won't.
Do not. I will walk if you make that joke.
Oh, dear. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Anyway, so then Bam Bam comes over, fixes the tree, and he brings it. Because he has super strength, he just lifts the tree off with great ease. I love this, just to show you we still are in kind of like coming out of the '60s, going into the '70s at this point. So it's hey kids, go listen to your records.
Yeah, exactly.
I just love the idea of Pebbles and Bam going to listen to records. It is the '70s after all.
It really is. It really is.
Okay, so take us to the rest of this.
Keeping nice continuity with Bam Bam being the strongest kid in the world and everything like that.
Certainly.
Okay, let's see. So,
wives.
Yeah, so Fred kisses Wilma.
You're jumping ahead.
I know I am.
The women's.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Okay, so Fred refuses to play Santa because they ask him
to like the women's auxiliary party.
Right. And then I think, isn't Barney like, oh, where would you find a suit big enough to fit Fred anyways?
Yeah, so Barney's making an exuberant amount of fat jokes for Fred. I felt a little bit like we can't.
You know what? Is Barney kind of the Scrooge?
Oh no, he believes in saving Christmas, so he can't be the Scrooge.
I know, but he's kind of an ass when you kind of read between the lines.
I'm just saying, in this one, he actually does make an example. Like, he usually has a little bit of pause between the fat jokes. So here is like kind of unrelenting because he becomes.
Oh, Fred, you're fat, and you should be ashamed of being fat, Fred.
I don't know though. I mean, he's the one who believes in Santa before anyone, so we can't call him a Scrooge.
Damn it, fair point.
I don't know, just Slade is like threatening the fire people, like, so I guess he's
this time.
You gotta remember, it's like we gotta remember, like Scrooge in the original book, he did like threaten the fire people all the time. So I guess that's Mr. Slate.
That's true. That's a good point.
Oh, anyway, so again, Fred doesn't want to be a joke, so he says, no, I don't want to be the joke. And again, Barney's not helping the situation, so he says, no, I'm not going to be it. Anyway, so he's a little grumpy in the moment, and he leaves to go to work because Barney's off this day. He's going to drive Fred to work, and I love this though. They kiss Barney kisses Betty, and then the woman was just looking like, oh, that guy, and then Fred wanders back in the romantic, oh, that Fred, and he kisses his wife. You thought I forgot, didn't you? Oh, it's so hard to stay mad at him. That's adorable. That is sweet. To me, this is such a charming Christmas special to me because of these moments, Okay. So anyway, so they're going to work, and Barney warns him about getting on Santa's list.
Be careful, Fred. I've been implying that you're an asshole.
All right, so then Mr. Slate, the minute Fred walks in, again, Fred's always worried about Mr. Slate firing him. He walks in there, and he hears.
I'd say this issue is kind of like more timely than ever when you say in the current economic situation we're in. I'm like, oh man, this really hits home.
Yeah, we don't want Fred turning into Chris Gardner now, do we?
Oh God.
Well, I'm trying to sell these rock density scanners, but they're just not selling.
Yeah.
You never saw The Pursuit of Happiness, did you?
No, I didn't. No.
That's what I thought. Okay, so. Anyways, Fred walks
too depressing to me. I was like, I don't want to put myself through that.
That's an inspiring story.
I guess.
Anyway, so Fred walks in there, and just the guy who's working there says, "Hey, Fred, Mr. Slate wants to wants to see you in his office, and Fred's just worried, like, oh, I'm gonna get fired.
Yeah, that is just the thing that Fred just does not want to hear whatsoever.
And again, it's like the worst sort of paranoia because he's walking around. Again, Fred's a nice guy, and Fred tries not to do anything wrong. He says, "Oh, what could I do?"
Exactly, and I can totally sympathize with this, man. I'm just like, Fred's just like, well, you know, I take short lunch breaks, and
Yeah.
I'm on time. I work hard.
Yeah, but you're just thinking, what could I have done wrong? I can't think of anything. Okay, so then he walks into the receptionist. So
Hold on. I love the elevator.
Okay, take us through it.
All right, so the elevator is just this pulley system run by a big brontosaurus in the quarry, and the brontosaurus, I think, it's impatient or something, and he drops the elevator too early, and then I just love the visual gag of Fred literally flying out of the elevator, and then it's like he just doesn't even register. He just immediately starts walking, and he's like, I don't get it. I don't get why Mr. Slate would fire me. What could I have done? I don't know. I thought that was a fun bit of mundanity.
It was. Like, yeah, so then he's by the receptionist area of Mr. Slate's office, and we have kind of the famous Flintstones gag. Okay, she pushes the button, the intercom, to let him know. Mr. Flintstone's here, pushes the button, then a little bird, little mini.
Mr. Flintstone's here.
Then he flies back into the thing, and the little intercom. He says, "It's a living." Well, it's a cleaner joke than when Family Guy did it.
Right. Yeah, we have to address that.
No, it's still funny. It's still funny. I'm just saying, compared to this, at least
I throw up in my mouth a little bit if I think about it for too long.
You think you have a crap job? Okay, anyway, so. So then Mr. Slade's like, Mr. Slade really likes playing mind games when you think about it. So he might actually be our Scrooge because he says, Flintstone, how long have you worked with me?
Yeah, that's very true. All right, we can slide Slade easily into the Scrooge role, I think. I don't think it's much of a stretch.
I'm saying that's the thing with this character, period, though. He just needs to be more direct about things.
But that's what I'm saying. I do think that with the character in general, I feel just fits the Scrooge archetype.
He does, but still, I think I've always liked Mr. Slade. He's always kind of a nice guy, though, even though he's kind of...
He's a nice guy, and Fred is just really paranoid about him. That's what I always got about the dynamic. Yeah.
No, it's still, Mr. Slade is one of those good... We should do, like, a countdown one day about good bosses in animation. We gotta do something like that. He's a good boss. He really is.
That would be a good excuse to get Grunkle Stan in the mix.
Okay.
He's technically a boss. He owns the gift shop. He's got employees. Anyways.
All right, so this is basically Fred. He misinterprets this and he starts groveling from under this. Oh, Flintstone, stand up! If you're grovel, standing up, would you? Stands up to grovel. Okay, pretty much it's Mr. Slate saying his wife, Miss Slate, she's going to the women's auxiliary party also, and she then used Santa Claus. Basically repeats the same problem Wilma did. And with that, basically now Fred is motivated to definitely be Santa Claus, whether he likes it or not. And Fred, I love this. Fred isn't like bummed out or anything like, oh, I gotta be Santa. That's annoying. He says, no, I'm just so happy I'm not gonna be fired. This is a Christmas miracle. Hooray! Such a nice sentiment. You don't see that these days. It's always like grumbling, like, well, now I'm in another mess. It's like, no, he didn't get fired. That's nice.
Yeah, he's on top of the moon now, and I like it. He's kind of elated.
And for a moment, he's thinking he was chosen specially. Plus, for a moment, he thought he was like specially chosen because Mr. Slate likes him. But no, he says, because of my acting skills, and then like the intercom bird says,
it's because you're fat.
Poor Fred. Anyways, then he grabs the suit and says, oh, Mr. Slate, I'm going to be better than good. I'm going to be the best Santa ever. And he goes into the closet.
Yeah, he walks into the closet.
Flintstone,
will you kindly get out of my closet?
And then Fred leaves. He leaves the office and he goes, "Yabba dabba doo," like he always.
I assume that's probably where the first commercial break comes into play.
I can't recall. Probably. There are a few commercial breaks, so probably.
Right. Okay, so Fred clocks out. And
he's all happy-go-lucky.
And
he goes in like the favorite time of the year song.
Yeah, he gives the penny to the charity Santa, or gives some change to the charity Santa. And yeah, favorite time of the year. So we have, let's see, some of the lyrics I had was every shop on the boulevard has the look of a Christmas card. Every roof wears a blanket of snow. Mistletoe's in there. Chalk that up.
I love it when it makes like he makes us helps the kids make a snowman.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Oh yeah, Fred, I do.
Well, come on, Barney. It's not that hard to do. All right. Oh, my God.
But seriously, I do love little snow. It's just this episode is so great because you get this special.
It's got a lot of Christmas atmosphere in it. I'll give it that much.
Yeah.
I think Christmas specials really shine when they put the time to just have like, hey, it's Christmas and it feels like Christmas.
And the thing with this special too is that it's just you get to see Fred like predominantly happy through the whole thing. You rarely see that. It's always someone's eating at Fred. It's kind of a pleasant change to see Fred all happy about something for an episode.
Right.
And still be Fred Flintstone though. It's like classic Fred stuff, but he's not grumpy or anything. He's just like, yeah, things are working out. And
as we said, Fred is a character that can easily be molded into the Scrooge archetype. I think he avoids that entirely.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, so he comes home and Dino welcomes him home right off the bat, in classic Dino style, topples him over, licks him to death. Anyway, so then it basically breaks the Santa news to Wilma. Says, you're going to be Santa Claus, the women's auxiliary thing. Well, what changed your mind? He says, well, Mr. Slady welcomed me into his office, gave me a cigar, tried to butter me.
I love the look that Wilma's giving. She's like just so amused by the whole situation. She's like, go on.
Yeah, she knows. Like, oh, sure, Fred. What happened next? That's
right.
That's a great marriage. She knows her spouse so well.
Sure.
Anyway, so let's see. So he tried to butter me up, and because of my acting skills, etc., etc.
Right.
Okay, so again, he's just really. This is, of course, he picked you, Fred, because you're very lovable. Oh, that's
a good one.
And then basically, his Pebbles around though. She's I think she's like at the neighbor's house, or like she's at
Fred. Bam Bam.
Yeah, with Bam Bam.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then basically he says, okay, good, I can try on my Santa suit. Which, by the way, I thought it was like a clever, subtle reference there. Just like, he doesn't want to ruin the magic for Pebbles if she sees Daddy's Santa Claus, that sort of thing. I like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Nice sentiment.
I think it might go over some people's heads, but I like that.
All right, so we see the suit, and it's all worn out and haggard looking.
Yeah, it's a lousy suit. It says, I'll put the hat on. Well, they put the hat on. I guess it looks okay. Yeah, you'll be a good Santa. This, And then Barney, I believe Barney comes in. He's like flinging some jelly insults at him, like a bowl full of jelly.
Oh, congratulations, congratulations, Wilma. He has a red little belly, a round little belly, like a bowl full of jelly. And you sure got a lot of jelly to throw, don't you, Fred, you fat ass? All right.
Anyway, so like, Wilma
Barney is kind of like an underhanded jerk in a way.
Well, at least he gets to be put into an elf costume the whole episode. There's a little some
fair enough.
Some payback. Anyways, like Wilma's proud of him and everything. Everything's turning up 7 for Fred.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, then we got. Then I guess they leave. They leave to get things ready. So
right.
The wives leave to the auxiliary thing, because I guess they maybe help the other mothers coil the children, getting ready for Santa's grand entrance, but also too, it's like it's their function too. So as long as there.
Makes sense.
Anyways, while it's happening, they got with the auxiliary function. What do you think that means? Is it just like a women's club, or do you think it's like women helping the less fortunate? What do you think?
I have no idea, dude.
I don't know. I want to think it's like women.
It just seems like a charity function put on by Mrs. Slade. So I think it's a charity function.
That's what I think it is. I think because I'm saying there are kids there, I'm thinking it's going to be like helping less fortunate children. That's what I like to think. It's like auxiliary, like an auxiliary. There are some like it's like like people trying to help like government sponsor type thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Hello? Yeah. Good.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I agree.
Okay, anyway, so as the wives leave, conveniently enough, now here's a problem I have with the special. This is a gripe I got. I mean, at the end of the day, it's nothing major, but it's like a big kind of logic hole in the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
So the minute they leave, we hear a thud on the roof and thud off the roof, we should say, and we see boots in the snow. Who else could it be? It's Tim Allen. No, it's not. It's
oh God! It's Nigel Thornberry.
No, it's Nigel Strawberry.
Hey, I'm here to deliver you my Christmas goose.
Okay,
Christmas
okay.
goose is for.
Anyway,
I'm
so
not going where you don't want me to go. Don't worry about
I'm
that.
making sure. I'm making sure. Anyway,
I can reference Nigel Thornberry about
good. That's fine. That's fine.
I'm a
Let's
good
just move.
tiki.
Let's just move on. Let's just move on.
All right.
So anyway, so obviously the real Santa has landed in their laps here. So so they pull him out of the snow. They don't. Fred doesn't buy it at first. The point is like by the way, I love how Santa's just like really taller than everyone in Bedrock. He doesn't look like a Flintstones character.
Uh-huh.
Point is like they help Santa up because he's twisted his ankle, so they help him inside.
Yeah, and so do you want to just get into how careless the Santa is right off the bat?
Okay, well, look, then he gets inside. Anyway, they sit him down. Let me get through my big logic problem here. So why exactly is Santa here this close to Christmas without any gifts? He's just randomly here.
Because he sucks.
Well, I'm sorry. It's like I shouldn't say without any gifts. I'm saying why is he here now? I mean, kids are still awake and stuff. Like he's just these.
I don't know. I mean, maybe he's just trying to get a head start. Maybe he got his time zones confused. Who knows? Like, they don't really go into detail about how Santa keeps track of the time zones or anything like that.
Well, the time is I'm just going to write that off as magic. But my main issue,
magic.
My issue here is like, is he just to me, it just comes across as he's randomly keeping an eye on the Flintstone family.
Uh-huh.
Why is he there if he's not delivering gifts? It's too early to deliver gifts. I don't know.
Maybe he just knows that Fred will make a good Santa. I don't know. Maybe this is all a test for Fred. You know what I mean?
And it conveniently falls the minute the wives leave. I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, it's like why is he just And then the whole episode he's complaining a little. You know, he's not complaining vigorously, but I'm just saying he's saying like, "Oh, this is terrible." Like, well, then why were you there in the first place? Why were you screwing around on the roof? You're not going down the chimney and everything if you're going to deliver gifts. What gives? I don't know. Okay, I'm sorry. Go through your Santa gripes.
I don't really have any. I think you kind of covered it. You know, I just think he's just a little careless. I don't necessarily think he's like one of the more memorable Santas that we've seen. You know what I mean?
I like things about this Santa Claus. I'm just really perplexed at what he's doing there in the first place.
I guess that's my problem. Yeah.
Anyway, so let's see. So they haul him inside. They help him in. Basically, asks to use the phone, but no long distance calls. North Pole, please.
Oh God.
Let's see. So Fred's worried that they brought a crazy man into their house because he doesn't buy this guy's the real Santa. Says, "Oh, we got a Lulu." It's careful, Fred. I wouldn't if that is Santa Claus, and I wouldn't want knowing that you called him a Lulu. And Fred saying, "Call the asylum, Barn. Call the asylum," and he goes outside.
I think this is a bit rash on Fred's part.
Me, yeah, but being realistic, the guy. If you're really skeptical of this guy's Santa Claus, if this universe if you don't believe in like a real, honest to goodness Santa Claus, and you think, oh man, the man has climbed onto my roof and he's fallen and he's calling the North Pole, you know.
I hear you. It is a little questionable.
I don't know. I think Fred. I get Fred's logic here. I like the fact that Barney was like, you got a sense Barney wasn't going to do it, so I think that's fine.
Sure.
I'm just saying.
No, I agree. Yeah, Barney definitely had reservations about it for sure.
Yeah, so I don't think he was actually gonna call him, but still, I think Fred was like jumping the gun a little on that, but he was in the right though.
All right, fair enough.
Anyway, so the point is when Barney walks out of the place, he sees on the roof, honest to goodness, reindeer, lots of reindeer and magical dust.
Mm.
So,
I think this is a cool shot too. I think it's a cool design for the sled. I think it looks really Christmassy.
It is. I love that every frame of animation with these guys is always like magical Christmas dust around them.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's really cool. Anyway, so he calls Fred out there. Now they're sold. Oh, it's the real Santa Claus. Let's go inside and help him.
Mm-hmm.
So they do, and Santa Claus, he's got a little worse for it because in addition to a sprained ankle, he's got a cold because he was just fell directly in that snow.
Now again, I'm sorry. It's like I realize all this is very circumstantial, but this Santa kind of sucks. Well, he just does. He's bad at his job.
No. Look, the cold wouldn't have. I'm convinced the cold wouldn't have stopped him, but the sprained ankle is something he can't work with. So I'm saying the cold is compiling upon that.
I'm saying he's Santa. He wouldn't get a cold in the first place because he's goddamn magic. That's what I'm saying. That's my complaint. I feel like a common cold is beneath Santa. It's like Superman getting a
Well,
common cold.
I think no. I'm still convinced like he will work through the cold, but he just can't walk. That's the problem.
Well, either way, you know, if Batman can do the ridiculous shit that gets him back into shape in The Dark Knight Rises.
When you think about it, in this special, really, it's just apparently during the montage, we eventually just throw gifts out of the sled and they land perfectly. So then again, in theory, Santa Claus could have done it himself. I don't know. Anyway, so for circumstances' sake here, you know, Santa's a no-go. He can't deliver the gifts. You know, they tell him, oh, it's a bad idea. So you have a replacement. Says, And basically, well, where am I going to find a replacement this hour? And Barney recommends Fred. Yeah,
which is a nice sentiment on his part.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah. Then
Santa, you've got the perfect replacement. Santa sitting right here because he's a big fat ass.
And then Barney, in response to that, is turned into the Fred's tiny magical elf,
which I'm sure you loved. It's a fun idea for sure.
Okay, so Fred suits up as Santa Claus, but then he said, "No, we can't have him dressed. Well, let's spice up. I'll give him my suit. You know, snap fingers. He's all decked out in a proper Santa suit and beard.
Yeah, proper Santa suit with a nice beard and everything like that. It looks really good.
Then Fred's asking a logical question here: how are we going to do this all in one night? You know, and Santa's like saying, "Oh, relax, you'll be able to do it."
And I love that. But Santa, you know, he's giving Fred instructions, and they're simple enough. But Fred's kind of overwhelmed by the whole thing. You know.
To be fair, I think to any of us, it would be kind of on that short notice, it'd be a lot to take in.
Oh, I totally agree.
He's saying like, make sure like low flying. I just love Fred's like such a nice guy trying to help out though. He's saying like, He's trying.
All right, I got it.
Learns about low flying pterodactyls.
Right. Oh dear, just like in Jurassic World.
There's all the complex like directional stuff to tell him about, and and he says, oh, he'll fly better. You'll fly better than you walk. You'll see. No, basically, I said, I hope he flies better than he walks. Just because Fred wants to always tumbling around. Anyways, okay, so then they're on the roof, they're in the sleigh, so they're delivering for Santa Claus. I kind of like the idea of Santa Claus, if he is, I'm saying again, circumstances aside, Tiki. I love the idea of kind of Santa Claus kind of instructing them over a radio on the thing. I like that.
Right. I mean, can we choke up the whole replacement for Santa as a trope as well?
Oh, certainly. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Guy filling in for Santa Claus.
Huh.
Okay, anyway, so Fred can't remember the reindeers' names.
Fred, I need you to fill in with me because I drank too much Pinot Noir last night.
Right.
Paul Giamatti joke, people. Paul Giamatti.
I still can't believe you still have 6% happiness. Anyway.
Really? That's what you're hung up on?
Really?
No,
I'm kidding.
Is it that good of a movie?
It's actually a good movie. It's a really good movie. But it's not the point, though. Point is, so then Fred's like listing off bad names: Reindeer, Jumper, Thunder, Bouncer, and then Barney names them off properly, and then they're good to go.
Oh yeah.
So as in any Santa replacement story, we have the troublesome first house. So.
Right.
So traditionally, we spend a lot of time on the first house, then the rest of them just kind of go by a lot easier. That's a convention you always forget. Yeah, through montage. That's how it goes here too. But at least it's jaunty, you know. So there's the first house. We got Fred doing yabba dabba doo as he plops down the chimney. Yeah. So there are a lot of gifts thrown down by Barney, not helping.
Yeah.
It's like a whole bunch of that's a ridiculous once, by the way. But then again, maybe it's commenting on a lot of gifts around the holidays. I'm not sure because at the end, all the Flintstones just get one gift each.
I hear you.
Anyway, so then the problem here is that how's he gonna get up?
Use the front door, Fred. I'm sorry, this is just stupid.
Well, remember at the end, there's like a whole there's thing factoring in. How Santa does
I like.
Well, Tiki, you're frozen. Great. Sorry about that, folks. Okay, so actually, before the before that bit there, we get Wilma and Mr. Slate just kind of mentioning that there's no sign of Fred yet. Then we cut back to like, how am I going to get out of this? How do I get out of the house? Spruancy's saying, well, how do I get up the chimney? He says, well, you can't figure out how to do it. So he says, well, Fred, why don't you go through the front door? Okay, he tries it, and it seems like it works, but of course, in any Christmas-related special, you can never use the front door because something's always going to go wrong. Usually it's a burglar alarm, but we're in prehistoric times, so what we got is having a guard pet.
All right, I'm back.
Yeah.
Could I take this hat off? This is ridiculous.
Fine.
All right. Okay, anyways, so yeah, we're at Fred going out the front door and whatnot.
Yeah, so he goes out the front door, and I mentioned that, he kind of makes sense that, I'm sorry, what I meant to say is, like, is the convention also, whenever you use the front door, usually like a burglar system in place. In this case, it's a guard dog.
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry,
so,
Tiki, were you saying, before you cut out, you were saying something about him getting up the chimney? So he tries...
I'm just saying, like, what logical reason would Fred have, like, from a practicality point of view? Like, Santa never mentioned anything about the chimney trick, so what practical reason would he have to even try to go up the chimney? It just seems like a pointless task.
Well, no, he didn't try to get up. Oh, wait. Yeah, he was actually trying to climb up the chimney. He didn't know that.
He was.
He thought it was going to... Well, that's his first house, and he's trying to get up the chimney. He figures, okay, maybe Santa just climbs up the chimney, and he tries. It doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, remember Fred? He is Fred Flintstone after all. He has to figure these things out. Come on, he's not going to be able to pick up. There is no way I can get up. He's going to give it a shot. Thankfully, he didn't get stuck Grinch style, but thank God.
Right. Oh God.
Anyway, so then it's
all I'm saying is that you've got a limited amount of time on your hands, Fred. So you might want to think about just doing the practical thing and going out the front door. All right, I'm sorry. Let's go on.
So what happens next? So there's a pet, basically a guard dog type thing attacking him, and then like Barney throws a rope down to him or something, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And basically whisk Fred away, so he's out of there. He's out of there. Meanwhile, we go through a montage. We see them delivering to Paris, Egypt, all over through a musical number, and basically we see some small world children like it's a small world. That we see.
It kind of bothers me that these civilizations are set up in what is obviously like before Christ times.
Well, it is BC.
Right.
Anyway, so you see, I just love there's this one shot. Like,
but seriously, was Russia established before Christ? That's all I'm saying. I don't think so.
You sure they went to Russia?
I'm dead sure they went to Russia because they had like the classic like towers that Russia has.
Okay. Anyway, so also
Egypt, I'll give you. Egypt was before Christ. I'm not even sure about Paris.
I don't know, but Paris, it's a really old city, so there's a chance Paris might have been around.
Look, we're thinking way too much into this, so whatever.
Anyway, I don't think the Eiffel Tower would have been around, though, but I could be wrong.
No, the Eiffel Tower came along in like the late 1800s, I think. So it was part of the World's Fair. Yeah. No, the Eiffel Tower definitely wouldn't have.
I'd be surprised if it was actually around for them. Anyway, so the point is, like, we see there's this one shot, like all the national. It's just for some strange reason we see children of all nationalities. Like it's a small world style, all lined up with each other. It looks exactly like it's a small world.
Right.
As the musical numbers going on during the montage, like there are mentions of mama dolls and it was like they're like these really awesome looking shell sleds, which I think Ninja Turtles really missed out if they didn't market that.
Oh yeah, they did for sure.
Okay, anyway, so also like drums and stuff. Okay, so anyway, so like they're halfway. It looks like they're halfway through and they're over China, but then there's a storm coming. There's a Christmas trope: storm coming during Christmas. Wintry storm. So then they
we're not heading into the storm, Barney. We are in the storm.
Doc, there's something I have to tell you. What? On the night I go back. Never mind. Go on.
It's the Libyans, Barty.
Right. The Libyans. Anyway, so during the storm, they're contacting Santa on the radio, asking what they should do. Unfortunately, during the storm, they lose all the gifts. They lose the rest of the gifts, which is a big old Oh no! So there's another trip, not having enough gifts for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So they contact Big Red using CV talk, and Santa Claus again. Here's something this kind of raised an eyebrow. Santa Claus randomly has the CV radio on him.
I don't know. I mean, maybe he's just maybe this thing has happened to him before, and I guess that's kind of like one of my gripes is that it feels like it has happened to him before. Like it feels like this is kind of a reoccurring occurrence for him.
See, what Santa Claus needs, he needs a rope to tie to himself and the roof. He also
needs a tubaphone, folks. That's T-U-B.
Hey, don't steal my jokes. I was referencing the Santa Claus for any clever viewers out there.
All right. Anyways.
Anyway, so let's see. Basically, Santa instructs him. Okay, what's the logical step? I like the logic applied to this. Okay, well, you're out of gifts. Well, go back to the North Pole, have make more.
Sure.
Okay, and that's what they.
And do. I do like the whole I'll give you this. I think the trip to the North Pole in itself is the one thing that kind of justifies this being an hour-long special instead of a half-hour-long special. Granted, it's 45 minutes, but hour of commercials. Because I don't know, I feel like that in itself, Fred and Barney getting to go to the North Pole, that's a big enough, kind of adventure scale sort of thing where it's all right, I can see it. There's a stopover at the North Pole. That's I don't want to say that's big stakes, but it's, it's an adventure. It turns it into kind of an adventure in a way.
And here's a moment where Santa kind of borders on Scrooge, but ultimately he's not Scrooge.
Santa the Scrooge.
He borders.
That would be really fun if we could find a Santa that was the Scrooge.
I'm saying I'm sure we had a Santa who was a Scrooge in one of these things. I'm sure there's been at least one.
You'd have to go back and look, man. I can't really think.
I do think we actually had one special where Santa Claus was a Scrooge. I think once we had a really incompetent Santa. I can't remember.
Was it Johnny Bravo?
I think I don't know. It may have been
or one of those two.
I don't know. It might have been Johnny Bravo. I can't recall.
All right, we're spending too much time.
Yes. Anyway, so anyways, we got the basically. So the reason I say he kind of borders on Scrooge here because he's talking to Mrs. Claus and he's saying, "Oh, those bumblers," but their hearts on the right. But then here's where, for a moment, the Scrooge-like line, but he redeems himself, so he's not a Scrooge. That's what I'm saying. He says, "Oh, they're bumblers, but they have their hearts in the right place." I like how
exactly. And honestly, I think that's kind of what endears Santa to them in the first place.
It's like Santa Claus realized these guys aren't the brightest tools in the shed, but they're the nicest guys around there willing to do this, where no logical person would ever try this.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the brightest tool in the shed.
Right. That song is so catchy. I just want to mention that. That's
it was used in every kids movie from 1999 to 2000.
No, but seriously, that song was the perfect opening.
That and Who Let the Dogs Out.
That was the perfect opening to Shrek, by the way. Anyway, so moving on. So Mrs. Claus, she's at the shop waiting for him and everything. So they come by to see this is a really nice bit. I thought it kind of I think it made that earlier sequence even more necessary when they're at the department store over there. They see, there's the dino, it's like a dino rocker or something that Barney had when he was a kid. And then for this moment, you never hear this on the Flintstones. I thought it was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little train set again, Ant-Man. There's a little train set going around there. Basically, Fred, he says, "Oh yeah, it's a train like when I was a kid. Whenever I get my father to, whenever I get away from my father." And I thought you never hear about Fred's home life, It's always Wilma's mother and Fred hates.
That's very true. That's very true.
I thought that was really a nice little bit of insight into the Fred Flintstone character.
Even in the movies, we're always focusing on Wilma, and her mother, but we're never focusing on Fred.
Yeah, it's something I've never recalled ever hearing about with Fred. You never hear about him and his father. It's I thought that was a nice little memory you shared.
It's kind of one of those things like Walter White, where it's he keeps it very close to the chest. But it's all very personal. I don't know.
The only mention about
nice little shades of development there.
There's only one reference I can never think of to Fred Flintstone's father. That was in the first Flintstones movie, where I mentioned his father died at age 35.
Are you talking the John Goodman one?
Yeah, the only good one.
Right. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so let's see. So we got some Miss Claus. She's just showing them around the place. Mentioned you're gonna have to wait a while they finish up the toys. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so we got basically a toy montage. You know, making the toys. For Mo and Fred and Barney get caught in the machinery. They want to help, which, by the way, here's my big gripe: they didn't help at all.
No, they didn't. They messed everything up considerably.
This is one song I would take out of the thing. This is just it doesn't.
It drags. It totally drags. I like the idea of going to the North Pole, but in the end, it's just kind of like a stopover just for plot convenience sake. So I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on it.
Yeah, this absolutely they help in no way whatsoever. They just
Having said that, it's a very nice Mrs. Claus. I'll give it that. It's a very nice Mrs. Claus. Yeah, I mean, certainly a lot more pleasant than the Mrs. Claus and Fred Claus.
I mean, I'd like it more if she was just if one, if they helped, and two, if the song was better. You know?
Yeah, I hear you. I totally hear you.
Anyway, so the song, it's okay. It's just
I don't hold these songs particularly to high standards.
I really like that opening song. I thought that was a really good song at the beginning. I mean, I thought for this special was really good.
I just don't, like I said, man, it just doesn't like jump out to me. It's like, oh my God, that song. I'm going to remember that song.
I'm not saying I remember. I'm just saying for the Flintstones, it's a good song.
All right, fair enough. But Flintstones and songs, I mean, there's not much.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they only have like a few when Fred bumps his head and he thinks he's a rock star. They don't really have many songs.
Right.
Anyway, so let's see. Again, so they didn't help at all. We see the whole thing going on there, and then building toys, and like question like, how do you do it? You know, levers and buttons. Da 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 song. Anyway, so we get on to our next bit. So then Fred, they're all packed up, ready to go. Got a whole slew of toys to deliver. So this is the name gag once again that Fred can't quite get the names right.
I like the running gag of Fred always like taking credit for Barney whenever Barney gets the names. Like, yeah, that's what I was about to say, Bart. I'm really smart.
Yeah, it was funny.
So I guess Fred and Barney, that's what I like about their dynamics is that they're always kind of like playfully like ribbing each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah, exactly. Like I really am being harsh on calling Barney an asshole because it's just part of their dynamic.
I mean, that is Barney's thing. I'm saying he goes to it a lot, but then again, it's like the ultimate opportunity for fat jokes when you think about it.
And to be honest with you, I don't even necessarily think compared to like the likes of like Homer Simpson and Peter Griffin, Fred Flintstone is that rotund.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Really toned.
That's the thing. Oddly enough, in the special, he looks awfully svelte. I gotta tell you, he looks awfully svelte in the special.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
He's like Kevin Smith fat right now. So Kevin Smith is trimmed down considerably. So he's kind of like in the same vein as Kevin Smith at the moment.
Sure. All right. Anyways.
Okay, anyways, the point. So then there's a really nice moment. They say "Merry Christmas" to Mrs. Claus, and say, "Oh, she's such a nice lady."
But she is.
I appreciate that. I like to take the moments just to acknowledge those bits right there. I like that. Anyway, so we're at the Bedrock in a hall, and the kids are going nuts. They want Santa. We want
Santa. We want Santa.
We're burning this place to the ground.
Okay, by the way, did you notice the transition and the Starry Sky transition that they use at least 5 times?
A little.
What?
A little. Yeah, I know.
Me?
Yeah, no, I'm saying, I heard you. I mean, I heard you, but I'm saying, I noticed it a little.
I was like, oh, Hanna-Barbera. Like, literally, I'm not even kidding. Literally, about 5 minutes after we have this We Want Santa thing, well, we'll get to it when we get to it, but it basically repeats the exact same animation.
Well, the Hanna-Barbera saying, when something works, let's do it again. So let's see. So
at least Disney painted over their animation models when they reused animation.
True, when they reused that Robin Hood animation.
Oh man, that Robin Hood animation is like the best of Disney animation from like the 1940s to 1960s.
And what we're going to see in Gallivant season 2, it's going to be the Robin Hood stuff. It's just going to be kind of painted over. It's going to be reverse rotoscope. That's what they're going to do.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Anyways.
Okay, so let's see. So one of the kids.
A lot of Magic Mountain Weird Al.
What?
Gallivant season 2. There's going to be a whole lot of Magic Mountain and Weird Al.
And anyway, I was thinking like
perfect world.
I was thinking of the King thing. We keep referencing that. That's where I was going with that.
Right.
And anyway, so let's see. So as the kids are rioting, the adults are worried. Here it says, "Oh, where is Flintstone?"
Mm-hmm.
And then let's see. So
I like the idea that Betty speculates. They're just going to make a dramatic entrance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But they are actually worried about him too for a moment, and all this stuff, saying, "Oh man, something might happen to him." It's
Yeah,
like
Willem was like, well, you know, that might be fine, but Mr. Slate might decide to give him a dramatic exit.
yeah, well, hold off on that one. Comes a little later. Point is, Slade is not happy at the moment. Then we get the final drop off here. So he has like so they're delivering their gifts, and we're at the final drop off. And we see that kind of that globe shot after they make their final drop off of the gifts. So at this point, they just like throw them off from the sled, and they land in the right spots because they're that good at it now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So then we see the shot of the globe, which is really nice. And their next stop is Bedrock. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I skipped ahead. Sorry.
Did you?
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Sorry. It's going back. Not by too much, but the point is they push like the super speed button when they realized, oh, we forgot all about the party. So they contact Santa and they push the super speed button.
I like the moment when they realize about the party too. I think it's good comedic timing.
Yeah, that was great. Then we cut back to the we want Santa and Slate's not happy.
And that's what I'm saying. Like we literally we see the star transition. We see the kids protesting. We want Santa. It's the exact same animation.
Right. And you were absolutely right, but when you mentioned that, when she said, I hope he doesn't make a dramatic exit, you don't want to get a pink slip for Christmas. So that's when that happened. Then they realized about the party, and then they pushed the super speed button, thanks to Santa Claus. Then we see We Want Santa, and then they make their final drop off. We see the globe. Next up, Bedrock. Mr. Slate's worried. I give him 60 seconds, or he's fired. And we see Pebbles is worried. Now this is when they're stretching for time. This song here, it's not bad. It's just they're stretching for time, obviously here.
Mm-hmm.
This is Pebbles is worried about Santa not showing up, and then Wilma gets into a song about having hope around the holidays. Well, it's a cute little musical number. It's kind of sweet. It's a sweet sequence, I think. I mean, you don't need it, but it's sweet. So it's Fred and Wilma exchanging gifts. It's really nice. Gets a tie, and they're on the mistletoe, and make sure you believe in Santa Claus. That's nice. Yeah, it's nice. You there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Good. Okay, anyway, so then they make their grand arrival, and yay, they made it. 10 seconds more, Flintstone.
Right.
10 seconds more, Flintstone, you would have been out of here, but not after that entrance. So Mr. Slade is here's a Scrooge, but now he's all happy and pleased. He was like in a grouchy mood. Now he's found the Christmas spirit.
All right, there's the arc. It's
the very minimal arc. It's like, yeah, he would have cut him some slack around the holidays regardless. No, that's the thing, Mr. Slade. He always threatens to fire Flintstone, then he doesn't.
That is the joke. Yes.
Okay, anyway, so then here's a realization that might have gotten Fred in big trouble. He realizes, oh no. He says, oh, where are the gifts for the kids? So he reaches in the bag. Oh no. So we gave out all the presents. So he goes, well, why don't you use some Christmas magic, Fred? He says, I don't know. I'll give it a shot. And using the magic, he basically creates a lot of floating awesome gifts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I guess there's a little Christmas magic in all of us after all. Which I gotta tell you, it's kind of a nice message.
It's fun. It's
nice. I mean, yeah, you know what, Santa, Fred? You're done. You're in the Santa suit, so it kind of makes sense. Maybe some magic in the suit.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so then he realized, oh wait, I just remembered something. We forgot the real Santa. He's back.
Oh yeah.
Back we shouldn't screw around here. He's probably going to want to get home. So anyway, they make
for us to make our exit.
Yeah, they make a speedy exit, and Wilma and Betty are like, "Hey, where are they going?"
Yeah, they're a little peeved.
Yeah, okay, anyways, let's see. So then they get back to the house, and Fred and Barney, they're talking to Santa Claus. And, you did a fine job, Fred and Barney. He says, "Oh, well, anytime, Santa, anytime." And makes a good little elf. Then he says, "After all, I'm going to want my Santa suit back, and I'll be caught in my long underwear."
Mm-hmm. Right, fair point, Santa.
Anyways, then the wives come back. They're on their way back. Says, "Oh, how dare they run out on us?" And basically, they're complaining all the way home.
And this was their little miniature Scrooge arc, I guess.
Yeah, but again, it course corrects too much.
Scrooge arc.
It course corrects too often, no. So you can't.
Yeah, I know. I think if we're gonna do anything, I think Slate definitely has the overarching Scrooge stuff throughout the episode.
He threatens to fire people a lot, so
Right. That's very Scrooge-like.
Okay, anyway, so before Santa leaves, oh yeah, it's a shame I don't believe in goodwill towards men and husbands.
Oh god.
There's a question of Well, I love this. Now Fred's delivered all the gifts. She just has to know for curiosity. He's like, hey, Santa, can I ask you one question? Sure, Fred, what do you got? He says, how do you get up the chimney? He says, does the classic Santa thing where he puts his finger to his nose and basically, using magic, you go up the chimney.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really love that as a little piece of like, ooh, it's magic. It's another piece of magic. Ooh.
Really nice, really nice. Okay, anyway, so the wives get home and says, okay, listen, Wilma, let me explain. Go on, Fred. Basically, he lays the truth on them, saying, yeah, we helped deliver the gifts. They don't buy it for 1 second. And then I kind of like this. Regardless if they believe him or not, I say, look, Fred, you don't need to make up stories, but we forgive you.
Yeah, very nice sentiment. I feel like throughout this special, just a lot of nice, just kind of, just letting people off the hook, and just it's the holidays, so we can just let stuff go right now. Yeah, I feel like that's a good message to take away from it.
Yeah, anyway, so it's time to exchange gifts, and they exchange gifts, and then Fred realizes, oh no, I don't have it on. Well, he doesn't have a gift for, and then thankfully Santa Claus, he does save the day. Again, he has to make
the rescue big time.
He has to make up for not delivering any of the gifts on Christmas, so he delivers one gift.
Right.
So he sends one gift down there for Santa Claus, and Fred gives it to Wilma and says, "Oh, I hope it's those saber-tooth earrings," and is further crossing his fingers like, "I hope so too." Anyway, so she opens
it. Give it a shot. Like how? Let's give it a shot.
Yeah. Anyway, she opens and says, "Oh, the saber-tooth earrings. They is them." And then so she thanks Fred.
Count him. He's really real. He's really, really real.
She thanks Fred and says, "Oh no, you should thank Santa. I think he's not lying."
No, he's not at all.
Anyway, so the kids see Santa Claus flying away in a sleigh, and then the Fred.
Kind of like a Peter Pan sort of ending.
It is, and I like that. I love this moment. It's like the Fred and Barney who literally did all the sleigh work. They come to the window along with the kids, and I love how it's just them and the wife saying, "Oh, we have a bunch of kids in this house, don't we?" Anyway, so they always kind of wave goodbye to Santa Claus.
Yeah, very nice.
Merry Christmas. Then Merry Christmas, everyone. That's how you end the Christmas special.
Indeed. All right, that was a Flintstones Christmas. Yeah. So I guess if I may go first on my kind of overall thoughts on this, like I said, it's fine. It certainly has a lot of strong qualities to it. I think Fred and Barney's banter, like I was kind of ribbing on it, like Barney's kind of an asshole, but no, I'm just having fun. I think they get it down really good. I definitely think there's a couple choices in the voice cast that kind of don't work that well. Specifically, Fred and Betty are noticeably different, and it's just kind of jarring. Overall, I still don't necessarily think this should have been an hour-long short. I just don't think there was all that much plot in here for that. And I think the whole stopover at the North Pole thing was only added just to put in the extra 15 minutes. So in that respect, I feel like it has a few pacing issues, but there's a lot of Christmas sentimentality in there. There's a lot of Christmas atmosphere in here. So overall, it's strong. Like, it's definitely got a lot of strong qualities. It's just it's a little rough around the edges, much like a lot of Hanna-Barbera products.
Well, this special I really liked. I mean, personally, I have to watch it again to make it like an official ruling or anything. But this one I have more nostalgia for than Christmas Carol, Flintstones. I don't know,
you see, I'm the exact opposite because I don't even really remember watching this on TV too much. Whereas
now bear in mind, I have to watch Carol again. I haven't watched it since I watched it on VHS. So I have a lot of gaps between that one. I remember as a kid that one not holding up well for me, but I got to watch it again to make.
I'm sure I've seen this on TV as a kid. I'm just saying, like, maybe Christmas Carol just aired a lot more because I just remember watching Christmas Carol a lot more. It definitely sticks out in my head way more than this does.
Well, for me, I mean, I watched this like 2 years ago when I had Boomerang as a channel of it, which was one of the most awesome things ever, by the way, just having a channel that played Boomerang 24/7.
I mean, Boomerang is great. I just think they need to, like, change up some of their bumpers and everything like that. But, that's a criticism they've been having for years.
My point is, so I remember watching this just randomly. I haven't really ever seen it, but like, I never saw it before until like 2 years ago, and I watched it, and I was like, like this one in particular, I've never seen this one before. Like about 2 years, 2 or 3, maybe 3. I don't remember. A few years ago, I watched it. I was like, man, this is just kind of a really nice, innocent special. It's like Fred and Barney kind of doing a nice little Christmas charity for Santa Claus, and saving Christmas. I think it's kind of nice.
Yeah,
and that's
nice.
what I like. That's what I like about it. It's really pleasant, really just kind of honest, really earnest special. And I like that.
Yeah, it's not overly complicated. It doesn't have a ton going on. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Oh, man, I forgot all about the songs going into this. I forgot it was an hour.
So and the songs threw me off. Yeah. All right.
However, though, I got to tell you, though, again, just I will agree with a lot of your points, Dig. I will say it doesn't need to be an hour, but even just with the plot lines we do have, I mean, they're fine plot lines. If they are going to drag, at least it wasn't like bad stuff they dragged it out with. It's just like
at least it wasn't like they decided to make the Inspector Gadget Christmas special an hour. That would have been unbearable.
Like, I got to tell you, just again, I haven't watched again, so take this with a grain of salt. But I just want to remember as a kid watching that again, years and years ago when I was watching that Flintstones Christmas Carol. That one to me dragged a lot. How long was that one?
I'm sure it was at least an hour. It was probably around the same length as this.
So that one to me dragged. That one felt like it took the course of many days. That one.
Well, I'll be interested to see what you think when we finally that's definitely got to be on the docket for season 3, I think, because we've been holding off on that one for a while.
I don't know. Does it belong in Christmas in July, or should we put it for seasonal shenanigans?
No, I think it belongs in Christmas in July for sure.
All right,
I think we need to get to it as Christmas in July next
all right,
year.
Fine. But anyways, the point is, I have a lot of fondness for this one. I just like the simplicity of it. Just to me, it just feels very pleasant, and I like that. I think it's just like a great, quiet Christmas special to watch.
I totally hear
it.
It
embodies a lot of just kind of pleasant holidayiness. It puts you in a Christmas spirit. That's what I like about it.
All right, so let's go over some tropes quickly, I guess.
Sure. Go on.
All right, so we got the real Santa showing up. We've got someone playing the role of Santa and filling in.
Then you got some department stores and decorations.
Okay, yeah, department stores, decorations, Christmas atmosphere downtown, charity, right on. Mistletoe in the song.
Mrs. Claus.
Mrs. Claus. So yeah, visit.
You
to the
don't
North
always
Pole.
see that. You don't always see that.
No, you don't. You don't. Visit to the North Pole. Let's see. Are there any special gifts? Not really.
But Christmas doing the thumb to the nose gag.
Right. Getting stuck in the chimney, I guess.
Certainly.
I'd say that's about covers it. That's a good selection.
Also, I guess like the Christmas party.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, the Christmas function for sure. Good one. Glad you got that. All right.
Okay. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so you
also,
want to set up the list?
Did we go over putting the star on the tree? Did we mention that one?
No, good.
That's a big one. That would be our last one there. So putting the star on the tree, that's always a big one. Okay. Especially for Arnold Schwarzenegger, that's a huge deal in that case.
All right, so set up the list.
So, Tiki.
What?
Camera. You need the camera on to do.
My camera is on.
It's not. Well, no, it's not. You're just an avatar right now. There you go. Okay, now we're good. So
okay, I'm sorry, it didn't show an avatar for me.
Anyway, so the list, folks, is this thing we're doing this time around to keep track of all the specials we talked about up to this point. We're getting to the last elements of it. So by the end of things, we can just say, man, that is a lot of stuff we talked about.
And things. All right, so to recap, we have, oh my God, we have so much. We have Rugrats Let It Snow, the I Love Lucy Christmas Show.
Are you rushing or are you dragging?
Batman Invasion of the Secret Santa. It's a Rocket Xmas. Whoa. Elves of Fraggle Rock. On the Family Draft Dodger. Holly Jolly Secrets. Spectre Gadget, unfortunately. I know it's my fault. I know. Merry Christmas, Keenan. Tubephone.
Tubephone, that's spelled T-U-B.
Pinky and the Brain. Lou Grant, the Lou Grant Christmas special. You're a Dirty Rotten Bastard from Nostalgia Critic. Holiday Time at Disneyland. The Wild Thornberries. Yeah, Christmas views from A Bed's Uncontrollable Christmas from Community. Lost Season 1. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Where'd you last see it?
Statler's Little Helpers, A Very Awesome Yo Gabba Gabba Christmas, which was awesome indeed. Mr. Hanky's Christmas Classics, Hell's Christmas Gift from Malcolm in the Middle, the Bath Item Gift Hypothesis from The Big Bang Theory. One of our favorites, the Santa Experience.
Oh yeah.
From Rugrats. That was a really good one. That we talked about that one for almost 2 hours.
Yeah,
it was totally worth it. And then the Flintstones Christmas. Yeah. All right. So peek behind the wrap paper really quick. I know I already kind of gave it away, but I guess we'll do your big show first. So
the nanny, then
yes.
then Alf.
Yes.
Now we love Alf, and that's gonna be a fun one.
But then hype up the nanny in particular.
Oh, sure. This nanny one, it's gonna be our Hanukkah episode this year. It's gonna be Hanukkah's gonna be a big one in focus, and nanny's always a fun show with that. And this one's actually kind of an interesting one because we get to see we get a trope of holiday flashbacks. Kind of funny.
Oh, okay, nice.
We get some funny holiday flashbacks. We're gonna see how those play out.
All right, and then Alf. Of course, we did the big emotional centerpiece.
This one, let me just like downplay everyone's reactions to that one. That was pretty much the Christmas one is probably the best Alf episode ever. So this one, it's good, but you can't top that Christmas episode. Come on.
I hear you.
So don't have your expectations too high. It's gonna be a fun one, but it's not gonna put. You don't need to bring the inside out tissues to that one.
Maybe just the tubaphone. Maybe that's all you need.
Yeah, a tubaphone would be nice.
All right, so yeah, that's about it. That'll be fun, and we're nearing the final days here on Christmas in July, and it's all about the formulas, and I feel like this episode definitely gave us a lot to work with, lots of good Christmas atmosphere, but we like to find out what works, what doesn't, and what Christmas specials really stand the test of time when you stack up the formulas.
And what we call this rocky and wondrous and magic-filled process, Tiki?
We would call it putting the mistletoe underneath the microscope. Next time on Christmas in July. Yabba dabba doo! Fred, you're such a